Hey everyone, today we just drove down a road in northern British Columbia. We're near the Yukon border. It's nice and cool up here. We were in southern BC and it was very, very hot out. I came up here, we avoided a whole heat wave. It's so nice. Nighttime temperatures get down into the 40s. Daytime highs are in the upper 60s. It's really, really nice. Today we are going to an abandoned paper mill, and look how steep these roads are. Very steep, very potholey. You can see now why we didn't want to bring the vehicle down here. This looks very, very active. It looks probably an ATV's been using it a whole ton. The building's severely graffitied, and couldn't find much information on it. It's not much information on these places out in the middle of nowhere. They don't keep much records, at least not easily accessible. Ooh, the train just started up. It's pretty cool. We got our big flashlight, bear spray. This is a grizzly area. I'm hoping to see at least one grizzly on this trip, but hopefully from a distance. We were exploring another abandoned building today. I thought we were gonna find something a grizzly killed or something. The whole building reeked. This gigantic logger building. It was like a motel. It had a hallway in the center of it. It had dozens of rooms. It had a shower room. It's their whole little place. And all the doors were spring-loaded. So if an animal pushes one open, they can't get out. A porcupine had trapped itself. I was afraid I was gonna find something worse. But that is the most stinky thing I've ever found in an abandoned building. Made the whole area smell like pure ammonia. Look at this totally wrecked car. Burnt. It's probably in a derby. Now let's see what the best way to get to this building is. Is it cutting through? Or I'm sure there's a nice trail, but I'm actually maybe gonna cut through. Let's check it out a little bit first. The fact that it's right off an ATV trail makes it that much more inviting. Maybe if we get a quick downpour, we'll be inside there. I notice most days we've been in Canada, there's been a quick downpour every single afternoon or evening, which is nice. Except the couple days we were next to a wildfire. It decided not to rain at all for those few days. Looks like somebody maybe drove right through that part of the building. Got this large paved area with a lot of burnt stuff. You wouldn't want to drive around in here. It's probably a really good way to get things in your tires. See a metal gate in the bushes, or a guard that could have been around a propane tank or something like that. Giant garage doors. It's been somebody's dumping ground. Looks more like household waste. Big place. Let's turn on the big light. I hear the train taking off now. see some fire damage. Kids always have the urge to light these places up. Honestly, this is a place you don't really need flashlights to explore. It's pretty lit up. And this was supposedly a paper mill. I don't see evidence of that. Usually a paper mill needs to have a water source. The way this has a drain and the floors are tipped towards it, I'd say more it was a heavy-duty garage. There's a railroad spike. Part of me is looking for the pits where they get underneath the vehicle to work on it. The first level of steps is gone. These steps seem to be intact. Nope, they were there, so what's missing from that little bit? Very strong, reinforced concrete. Notice every single piece of insulation is charred. Kids come into these places, they'll pour gasoline all over the floor and just light it up. It's the middle of nowhere. So that's what they do, unfortunately. If there was any walls in this place that were made out of wood, it would have been burned a long time ago. Now you see these metal brackets. There's a metal hatch. I'm guessing this area had a hoist. There's another metal hatch. A whole ton of them. Here's lots of switchboards, disconnects. There's another metal plate. You can see outside. Believe it or not, I've been exploring places and kids will carry sledgehammers and they'll just knock down concrete walls. They'll weaken cinder block walls just to watch them fall. Here I'm guessing is hydraulic lines to run some kind of big machine. It's very oily up here. What else do we got over here? A whole ton more of it. Someone would have sat out here watching something. It looks like this wall's actually partially framed with wood. Fire didn't get far in it. Not sure what this building is, but I definitely don't think it's a paper mill, like we were told when we came out here. Back downstairs, somebody took a cutting torch, took this beam out of here, took those beams, what sat on here that somebody cut dozens of times to get off? And before we head out, I am going to climb up that ladder. I am curious about that. So out here, don't see much. I'm guessing there was a conveyor or something coming out here. I just know that all the paper mills I've explored in the past had some sort of huge place where they would grind up pulp. There'd be these massive cylinders, areas where water can flow. They also usually build paper mills right next to a river. This could have had something to do with that process, but I don't think this was a paper mill itself. Like, my favorite paper mill I ever explored was in Pennsylvania, and it had 2 dam failures above it. The dam that supplied the water pressure to the paper mill failed, flooded out everything, but they rebuilt, they repaired, they built another dam further upstream. It also failed, and then they abandoned the whole thing. I want to climb up in this real quick, see what I can see. Then we'll head out of here. The railroad crew's outside, they're moving around cars. Hear them talking on the radio. They have a fire sprinkler system everywhere. Got a great view up here. Looks like someone even had a fire, went camping up here. Someone stole most of the railings. You can see they were cut off. But all the structural parts, this vandal left intact. Interesting. I also see gas lines up here. That right there in the middle is a gas regulator. There's another gas regulator. I'm guessing they had large gas heaters or propane heaters up on the ceiling of this shop to keep it warm. With the big doors and stuff, this does look like a heavy-duty shop. It's really what it looks like to me. But I'm surprised it doesn't have oil change pits. What do you guys think in the comments? What could this place have been? Oh, I actually see, if we zoom in over here, there's one of the heaters. It's got the blower fan. It also has that really long heater over there. They have those in a lot of Walmarts above the shopping cart. It'll turn bright red and it'll radiate a lot of heat down there. And up here I also found, is that $1? Yep, there's $1 right there. All right, I'm gonna come back down now. Here's another view of what I was seeing from up there on the tower. See, that was a big gas heater up there on the ceiling. And over here, this is also a gas heater. The middle of that would turn bright orange when it's on. And this over here looks like it's just a fan, no heat in that one. Got a lot of duct work over here. Were these drains or were these wire runs? These could have been wire runs and somebody just stole the metal covers. It's for easy access to communication wires and stuff. We've seen those in a lot of buildings, especially military bases. You see these metal plates? There would have been metal plates like that along every piece of this, but it's really easy scrapping. Are these ones connected somehow? How'd these ones not get stolen? Yep, it looks like they're welded to the ground and somebody had to cut along the whole thing. I just want to see what's in this little room off to the side. Is there a potential staircase? Looks to me like it's just fire sprinklers. Is that fire sprinkler? Trying to trace it around. Yes, it is. It's fire sprinklers. all of this. There's a lot of nails sticking up in here. That's why we have steel soles in our boots. Just looking out here. Gotta be careful walking around in here. Just looking for any possible route up onto the roof. Not seeing anything like that here. Guess we can walk around the part of it towards the railway. Sometimes in places like this, I like to make out what this stuff was. See any toilet drains? I see a pipe, but it's not big enough to be a toilet. That was definitely a toilet. You can see the mark it made, and it has the bigger pipe. Another toilet, maybe a third toilet. This is definitely the bathrooms. Got a bunch of smaller sink drains. What's back here? We haven't checked out these little crevices yet. I want to take a peek outside. On this side, sometimes these buildings have a metal ladder going up onto the roof. Although that was probably taken off at this point. I guess this looks like fun, maybe. Look at that. Like I said, kids with sledgehammers. That's what I'm pretty sure did this, because these walls are hollow. They knock down much easier than you think. Now this right here is not a ladder. This right here would have held conduit going around the building. Someone scrapped it all. Oh, there's a conveyor belt. I was on to something earlier. And there's a big hopper up here that would have utilized the railroad. I'm seeing down here lots of sawdust. Now I know what the hydraulics were for. The hydraulics were probably running a high-speed saw, and this was to transport the sawdust out. I think this was a lumber mill, not a paper mill. It even smells, you can smell the presence of the heavy equipment that was in here. You can smell the the wood chips in here mixed with that hydraulic fluid. It's a very distinct smell. So I guess this hopper was beneath where they had a saw, maybe. I'm sure somebody in my comments will be able to make sense of what I'm seeing. It's much more likely this was a sawmill, I'm thinking here. Here's a look over here. It's hard to find pictures of buildings that are this far out in the middle of nowhere. From the past of what it may have looked like. I kind of want to go over to that other spot where it looked like there was a cage protecting something. I think it was just to protect the propane tank, which is gone, but I want to go take a look at it. So all those hydraulic lines upstairs there, another hydraulic, I can smell it. It's still present from them slowly leaking. A lot of hydraulics will have slow leaks, just like an excavator. You can only put certain attachments on the older ones. They need a high flow hydraulic pump to run fast things like saws and forestry blades. And that's what was up on top of there. Something that was hydraulic driven. It's pretty cool. Very powerful. Just want to see what was over in this corner. It is more interesting than I thought. It's protecting you from falling down a big hole. Maybe the well to the place. Maybe that was their gas line in. Not sure. All the trees just grew right into this fence. You cannot see this building from the road, at least not in the summertime. Very, very overgrown. Did I just find a socket? Nope, not a socket. Or is it? I don't think that's a socket. There's something else in here being protected with these bollards. There's a big anthill. Filling propane containers. This was a propane filling station. Pretty cool. All right, everyone. I hope today's video was interesting. We've been doing a lot of exploring in Canada over the past month. We're gonna keep on exploring for another month. We're gonna head on up further north into Yukon. And then in a few weeks, tourist season will be pretty much over. Then we're gonna go down to Vancouver Island in a couple of weeks. Once tourist season's over, there's a fair amount of abandoned stuff there. We have to take a ferry to the island and take a ferry back. Only way to get there. And then we'll slowly make our way all the way back to Maine by the end of September. That's the plan. And most abandoned stuff that we find that's interesting, you gotta come across it yourself. Just think about it. There's only 10% the population in Canada compared to the United States. So of course there's a lot less stuff being abandoned out here. But still interesting. It's more rural than anything else I could have imagined out here.